Hello, nice to be in London. My name is Gergely Rakoczi, as mentioned, and we are from Vienna University of Technology. I have two colleagues here. We are the Moodle team at our university. My colleague Andreas Ruska is technical head of the Teaching Support Center, and Katarzyna Potoska, she is senior software engineer, and we are responsible for our Moodle activities there and the administration. We have around 20,000 students at Vienna University of Technology, and now we are presenting our usability improvements and what we have done to make our Moodle installation better. What I'm going to talk about today is we have conducted an eye-tracking study, or actually two of them, and I'm going to present some basics. I'm not sure if all of you have an idea about eye-tracking and what this technology and methodology is about. And yes, afterwards, two studies. The first one is about usability issues, how to improve Moodle installations, what we have learned. And the second one is what do students really see within Moodle. So it's more, I would say, interesting for teachers and tutors using Moodle. Just a short question. Who is from universities here in the room? Okay. From schools? And business, okay, some of you too. Okay, and try to emphasize on university and schools in terms of eye-tracking results. Yeah, this is the first picture I'd like to start with. So eye-tracking in general is about eye movements. Try to find out how students are navigating, exploring what they are presented. And so this is a typical picture, finding the mistakes, and I'm sure you have found this mistake here. Anybody found the second mistake? No? Okay, it's not surprising because it's here. It's a low contrast on the screen, so it's no problem. But in general, eye tracking is a good solution to find out, okay, how do students or people investigate images? How do they read text? And I think this is a good example of eye tracking. Eye tracking is not new. It's so around 100 years. So the research is quite long. The first eye tracking tools were quite intrusive. Attached to that, yes, it's a little bit horrible picture. I have to say this is quite precise a method to measure eye movement. So it's a really good way. But these are the tools we have used during our studies. So much better and easy, and you have freedom of head movement, so it's a quite nice one. And there are also mobile applications where you can go around and even investigate interaction in the room. So yeah, this is just basics. Eye tracking in general used for monitoring navigation, exploration strategies, and in some way you have insights into thinking of your students. So we can, our brain is a black box, but with eye tracking we might find out some ways how they try to solve problems. Usability testing is a big point, and once Salvucci said eye tracking is sort of window to the mind, so it helps a lot. One slide from Professor Kaufmann of Vienna University of Technology is quite interesting for eye tracking, because here we can see the human sensory perception. So what all the data and the influences that we are facing, and 70% of them is visual. So it's quite a good way if you use eye tracking to find out the majority of the influences that are of relevance. Just short information. If an eye tracking study is conducted, how you can analyze. You have gaze plots, means you have these saccades between fixation points. So students are moving around objects, and you can afterwards analyze this by these gaze plots. Heat maps, you have a summative view where the students actually looked. For example, here you have hotspots. They are very important for the students. And the other parts that are transparent, they were ignored. Cluster analysis shows, okay, 70%, for example, of the students have been there and just 20% here. B-swarm analysis shows you, for example, at a certain point of the study where the students were looking at. So here you can say after 5 seconds, 5 students have been there, 6 have been there, just 2 have been at the bottom, and so this is a good way if you are investigating, and also statistics. Yeah, before we start, I have forgotten it. I have some handouts. I can hand it to you. These are useful hints. Sorry, just 2 of them are in color, and the rest is in black-white. We have been to the Moodle Moot in Germany, and yeah, all the participants there took the color ones, so I'm sorry. Yeah. So the first study was how to improve the usability of our Moodle installation. This was our old design. We had 3 columns. The content area, we had here blocks for navigation. Here we had the calendar. Neue Nachrichten means upcoming events, messages, and students who were online. So this is actually the old design, and we have conducted this study, and we had 78 usability issues that we had found, and now I'm going to present you the most interesting ones. For example, searching for courses, it was in general in the content in the middle page. There were the courses listed, and we also had on the left-hand side this small, how should I say, short cuts for the courses in small text size. And we have found out that, for example, navigation in general was horrible to the courses, because all the time you had to look at here. We have semester sorting that improved a lot, but you still have to scroll down a lot, and the best way is, I'm going to show you the solution at the end. So it was not really the best way for this, and this failed totally, this little element displaying the actual courses, because it was too small text size, and yeah, nobody really wanted to encode it visually. Here you can see in the case plot, for example, student started here looking on the page and went immediately there, so it showed that the positioning was okay, but this is too small text, and they were not really interested in looking at. And so they moved to the middle sector. In general, in Moodle, you have a central dominance of visual activities. So if you place something in the middle, you can be certainly sure that students will find it. And the right column was completely ignored. So searching for courses in such small areas is not really good. Finding help was an issue too. We had an element called TU tutorials, and this listed all the documentation, all the multimedia tutorials, forums, frequently asked questions, so everything was there, but students were not really realizing it, that this is the element that they were looking for if they needed help. And Eyecatching showed us that they were looking at the right top area of our Moodle installation to find help. So I'm going to show you our solution for these two. Yeah, and here is some statistics. So just only 50% found this element too well tutorials on the left-hand side, and just 1 person found it within 5 seconds. I have to say this is the so-called rapid fire task. That means the students were presented 1 picture and for 10 seconds. So it was just a short visual presentation. And yes, the others needed more than 9 seconds to find this button. Yeah, and time to first fixation was about 4.2 seconds, so it was quite low, and the search efficiency was not really good at this time. And this is the only one, this person, Anna, who could find this help element in quite an accurate time. Third issue we found out was about group enrollment. I'm going to present you a video here. I hope it works. It failed before. Okay. Yes. Once again. Okay, so it's recovering. I hope it works. Sorry for that. maybe I tried presenting you the video in a different way. Okay, here it seems to no, it's not working. Okay, I think I'm just skipping it. Seems to be a plugin problem. Okay. So start here. Okay, just skipping the enrollment problem. I think this is the best way. So this fourth result here is editing profile page. So the students had the task to edit their profile page, and we have investigated them which path they use to find these tasks, and it was really interesting because we had 10 users and 30% used the administration block here because there is the direct link. Then 30% clicked on their name, 20% used the block online activities, and they saw their own name there, and 20% clicked on participants, searched for their account, and then clicked on profile editing. And this showed us that there are lots of ways how to reach this element, but you always have to think about it. Okay, how do I get there? It's really difficult to remember, and therefore we have a solution. I'm going to tell you later. And so, okay, what we have learned, we had 6 major usability improvements, which we have deduced from our eye tracking results. The first was we skipped all the elements on the right-hand side because we have found out eye tracking showed us that only 20% are fixating on the right-hand side. And 80% of our students were looking at the left-hand side. And this is, within our Moodle installation, quite an interesting thing, because all the navigation elements that were really useful for their learning is on the left-hand side. So we made this step. We introduced top bar navigation, where we have our courses, where we have fast access to all the actual courses, to all the courses that are available within our Moodle installation. Search for our courses is also listed in here. And yes, if you have, as a teacher, if you want to create a new Moodle course, this is also located in here because it was quite difficult to find it in the other version. Okay. This computer doesn't like me. Okay. So, and then we also had an optimization of the course menu. We have used this element here, but if you have lots of activities within your course, this element is really long. So we made it foldable, so all the activities can be folded and all the topics can be folded. And then afterwards you have quite a short course menu, and students love it because if they are really concerned about it, to keep it short, they can do that. So this is also an improvement. Yes, and we tried to lay emphasis on the personal area here on the right top, where we tried to concentrate the logout, and in further development we tried to I'm going to position the messages there, all the personal stuff, because we have find out the students, if they are having a sort of personal task within eye tracking, they automatically looked on the right top side of the Moodle installation. So I think this is a good way to present or to provide them links to personal elements. And we also made a redesign and sort of consolidation for our help area. The problem was we had an element here for help. It doesn't work out, so we found out during eye tracking that in most cases they are looking at the top of the page for help, and now we have this element here, and now we have the possibility to tunnel the help possibilities there. So we have a ticket system there. We have an element there for frequently asked questions. We have a link for multimedia tutorials, and these are all listed here if you click on this element, and this is a good way in terms of visual gaze path for positioning of this element. And one major improvement was we had, I'm not sure if you can remember, we had two blocks here on the left-hand side that was important for navigating within the course. The first one was the administration block, and the second one was for our institutional or university developments, because we have a leading campus software and we have connections to them, and these were separated. But we found out that it was quite difficult for users to make a difference between these elements. What is core, Moodle core, and what is our own development? They have not really understand the difference between these blocks. And so we thought, okay, it might be a good solution to combine them and to combine the elements by grouping it in terms of content. So here we have, for example, settings, all the links that are important for course settings. Here we have questions and management of data. Here we have all the elements for deal with groups and groupings. Here we have all the grading links. And here we have all the links for backup and restore. And yes, profile editing is still here, but we are thinking about to kick it out of this block. So that is what we have learned about. Also, what is in the handout that I give to you, where students look at, if we investigate all the eye tracking data, we can specify these elements. So if students are looking for navigation elements, they immediately look on the left top side. If they are looking for course-specific menus, they look at the left-hand side, but more on the top area. System-specific menus are looked here, and if you want to present them news or something that is upcoming or informative in terms of time, then it's maybe well positioned here or on the right-hand side on the top. Login, logout is here, and personal area should be on the right top. Yes, this was the first study, and the second study, I'm not sure how much time I have. Okay, then I'm going to move a little bit faster forward. So it was focusing on how do they navigate within Moodle, how do they behave after accessing a page. But I think I'm just skip to the pictures. Yes, this is tested with a basic Moodle, I think 1.9.4 installation, and here you can see, for example, that there is a dominance of the content area and on the left top side in this box. So this is much more interesting, the links, than the descriptions. They are not really processed as and here is very interesting that, for example, the calendar in this point is not really used. Yes, this is also really interesting, but I'm going to go to the other results. Yes, how do students behave after they access a page? In general, they use the first two fixations, that's about 300 milliseconds, to identify where are text blocks. But this is just to find out, okay, how much do I have to really learn? And fixations number 3 to 5 or 6, so we are in the range of 1 second. They are looking at headlines and pictures that seems to have a lot of information and that have a high level of information for them. And then afterwards, they're processing pictures of low information. And just before leaving the page, they are really fixating navigation elements, so they're not really using that. So we have divided here the areas of various Moodle pages within this area. So it's really important here that you gave headlines and titles to each element. Is really, really important because they are the key elements for navigation, and they are really influencing our visual exploration within Moodle. One usability issue that I'd like to show to you is, for example, here in most Moodle installations, there's the logout button and your name, but they have the same color. And lots of students think, okay, that means they are the same, so if I click on my name, I will be logged out. And this is not true. And as a tip, as a hint for you, if you have the possibility to color code this yourself, please change it to a different one, because if you have the same color, the students assume that they have the same functionality. So, also changing captions here at the bottom of the page. This is a sort of back button in Moodle, and there are always different captions in there, and you see that they were fixated a lot. And students reported me after the eye tracking test that they couldn't really recall the function because it was always something different. So from then on, they have ignored this function here at the bottom. So changing captions is not a good solution. This is really interesting in Moodle 9.4. You had these boxes to fold the topics, but students in general thought, okay, this is something to tick because I've read this element, now I click on it and it's done. But it's not this way. And the funny thing is then this topic is folded and all the others disappear, causing lots of fixations afterwards, how to restore or how to get back to the previous view. So if these elements can be disabled or changed, it's a really good way because these elements show and tell us, okay, this might be also for ticking elements that we have already done. Okay, so how to create eye-catching materials? Within our investigation, we have to find out that if you use text, always provide enumerations, listings, and so on, because these are really the elements that students are really looking at, because they assume here is a summative part of this text, and this might be the most interesting one from the whole one. So try to use enumerations. They are really influencing how we process Moodle pages. Please break difficult text apart. We had various texts within our Moodle installation, difficult ones, easy ones, and if you have a huge text block and it's complex, students are struggling when they are reading it. For example, here you can see circles. These are the fixations, and these fixations have, I would say this is a 1 second fixation. So they're really long fixations. In general, you have 100 to 250 milliseconds of fixations. And this shows you that they were fixating these words there a lot. So they have struggling to understand the text. So try to break them apart and always provide pictures with complex text. Also try to increase the involvement. This picture here is, I had two groups within this investigation. One group was motivated, the second one was not really motivated in terms of the topic. And you can see that students who are really motivated, they have tense fixations intensities. Use borders with visual segmentation. It's a really good way. And this is what I try to encourage all the people. Try to use pictures because they are really getting students to process elements within Moodle. Yes, this is what I've already mentioned. And one really magical thing is use faces. Gaze plots show that students immediately skip to human faces because they're really interested in that. And if you use this phenomenon in a clever way, you can really influence them how they process your Moodle page. So just one picture of a face with a good text and then a good information helps a lot. Yeah, that's it. If you have questions, I'm glad to answer them. Yep.
Thoroughly agree with you about the captions.
Yep.
Did you do any research into where the students were coming from? I mean, were they expecting to log into the top right because, for example, that's where they are in Facebook, they would use Facebook a lot.
Yep.
And therefore compare, say, frequent Facebook users with non-frequent Facebook users and so on.
That's the most difficult part of eye tracking study, to find the right group of students who are really investigating, because we are all so different and have, in terms of navigation, we have different thinking. For example, some students reported after the eye tracking test that they generally use a navigation strategy that is from our leading campus software that has a completely different way of presenting course selections or so on. So it's really difficult to find the good mass of groups of participants for the eye tracking test. So which we have tried to find them. We have students from various faculties. We had at university, I think, 8 faculties, and 7 of them were represented within this eye tracking study. So we tried to, but this is a really crucial issue here. Yeah. Yes, yes. Well, my master thesis is about Moodle and eye tracking, and I'm now on my PhD. So, and there are some publications I can provide you. Yeah, I have a page, but it's in construction now. So, but in general, if you Google my name and with Moodle and eye tracking, in most cases you can find me. Yeah. Yeah.
It's great to have scientific evidence now for you should have your picture on your avatar in Moodle instead of your football team, because people navigate towards faces, which is what we always tell our students, to put a photograph and they always put a football team in.
Yeah.
The talk was very interesting. Just a couple of questions. Is it possible to get, just following up with the last question, is an electronic copy of the tips, is that on the website?
I've written on Monday last week, so at the moment not, but I'm going to put it on my webpage. And yeah, and well, 12 in the first one, 10 in the second one, and I have conducted a third one, which is not presented here. Then there I have, I think, 10 students as well.
The findings wasn't very consistent, even small numbers then.
Yeah, in eye tracking, it's really the best way that you have qualitative studies, that you can talk to them 1 hour at least afterwards. And there are some quantitative studies, and there you, in general, use 30, 35 students, and that's what I'm aiming to for the next test, to have data. Yep.
So have you ever run any usability testing on the members of the staff? I mean, in terms of when they set up a course.
Yep.
Does it be different? Like, I've had some like small do-it-yourself usability testing, like Steve Craig said it would sit with a person, and they found it quite confusing those drop-down boxes when they choose. Have you ever?
Unfortunately not. I think it's not so easy to get access to professors in Austria in terms of usability testing. So, and we have a quite, I would say, wide range of professors and assistants there, from really, well, I would say 25 years and also 80 years. So they have various exploration strategies. So, and I would say this would be difficult to find a good test group. But I would like, yeah. But I think in Austria it's quite difficult. But I'm thinking about it, yeah. Yep. By that, for example, like here, if you have really a key issue, 2-3 sentences that sum up everything within your Moodle course, such an element in the content area helps a lot. So this is what I've really meant. And even sometimes empty space around it it's as helpful. Yes, but the very important thing is that you have just some areas bold, so not all of them. And this is, and also they are not, they shouldn't interfere with the topics. So they should be a little bit different. And I would say, if you have such a text block, just one or maximum two elements should be bolded. So if you use it, it's a good way, but keep it short. Yeah. And I can say the similar thing. If you use the color in a reasonable way and just keep it, you use it just for smaller portions of the text, it's useful. But if you have, and the thing is, you shouldn't mix up lots of colors, because colors in some way shows a function, a sort of semantics. And if you have 10 colors, nobody really knows what the color is standing for. But if you use, for example, red and blue, for example, or green for signalizing, okay, this is a good one, this is not a good one. It's a quite efficient way, but you always should keep it small and okay. Thank you. Thank you.
We have a coffee break now.